Okay, we're gonna do my classic buttercream recipe today and frost some really cute cupcakes for a baby shower. So if you don't already know my buttercream recipe, this is like my classic go-to that I do all the time. So the ingredients are for a double batch, which I'm doing. So this is for 24 cupcakes this size, if you like a lot of frosting like me. So 1 cup butter, I use salted butter. So 2 sticks equals 1 cup, and then 5 cups of powdered sugar. 3 teaspoons of vanilla. You can use the clear vanilla or this, but try to use real vanilla. It really makes a difference and tastes a lot better. And then up to a 1/4 cup milk. So I have some milk out. I feel like I never really end up using the full 1/4 cup because then it makes it too sweet. So you're gonna start by creaming your butter and your sugar together. So I'm just gonna throw it in the mixer. And for sake of time, I'll just put it in. Okay, so I have the 5 cups of powdered sugar and the cup of butter in there. I like to use my paddle attachment on my KitchenAid. You can use a hand mixer, you can use a whisk. This is just what I prefer. So you're gonna put it in and then you're gonna cream it together as much as you can before you add your milk and vanilla. Struggling with my KitchenAid apparently. Oh, it's because my bowl's not on tight. Rookie. There we go. Start on a low speed. If you start on a high speed, it's going to throw powdered sugar all up in your face. And if you find that your butter is like clumping up on the mixing attachment, you can always turn it off, grab your little spatula, pull your butter down, and push your powdered sugar down and then start again. What's that, babe?
Where's my after school snack at?
It's on the table. There's cut up vegetables. So after you have creamed your powdered sugar and your butter together, it's still gonna look really dry. Swayze. And that's okay. You're gonna add your vanilla in next. So this recipe is 3 teaspoons of vanilla. I got my cute little teaspoons. Hi Hayden, you don't need to be in this whole video. So I'm just gonna add it in while it's mixing one at a time. So there's 1. 2, 3. And then while it's mixing, you're gonna add your milk. You wanna do like a teaspoon at a time or just slowly put it in while it's mixing. You don't wanna put in too much because then you're gonna have to go back in and add powdered sugar. So I like to slowly drizzle a little on one side. You're being very rude, I need you to stop. Get down right now. Add a little on this side. And we're back. I can't even try to do these videos without my kids around because I'd have to do it in the middle of the night. As you can tell, you can hear the KitchenAid starting to work really hard. It's getting really thick in there from all the butter. So you're just gonna slowly keep adding milk until you get that nice creamy consistency. And then you're gonna wanna turn your KitchenAid up a notch. So right now it's on a 2, I'm gonna kick it up to a 4. And I'll pause it just so you can see what it looks like. So this is what it looks like. I haven't scraped the bowl or anything yet. So I'm gonna scrape all these sides down to the bottom and the center, and then I'm gonna turn it on full blast and whip it for 5 minutes, and then it's gonna be perfect. So I'll get my spatula, scrape it down. It's a little bit thicker than I'd like, so maybe if I'm whipping it for a minute and it's still not that like creamy consistency that I want, then I'll add a little bit more milk. Okay, so now I'm going to turn it up to like 4 or 6. And I'm just going to let that whip for a few minutes until it's nice and fluffy and a spreadable consistency that I want for the cupcakes. Okay, so now we have some awesome, creamy, ready-to-use buttercream. I'm going to do 2 different colors today for these cupcakes. I'm going to do one just this kind of ivory color that using the dark vanilla gives you this ivory. It's not going to come out perfectly white. But I always keep this in the measuring cup that I used my powdered sugar for. That way I don't have to like make a mess on my counter. And then I'll pull out the white frosting that I need and then mix the colored frosting in here. Just saves on dishes and time. Okay, so I have my bags ready. And I have the coolest thing today is the large couplers. So if you haven't seen the large couplers before, I'm going to show you how they work. So this is the 1A tip. If you use Wilton, it's like the really round, gives that fun, smooth dollop. And this is the number 1M. It's a star tip, the big star tip that I love to use. And this is called a coupler. It comes like this in a bag. So this white coupler is awesome because you can put it in the cake decorating bag, trim it down so it fits, and then you can interchange the tips, so then you can go from smooth to a star tip without having to waste another bag. I'm kind of ergonomically, whatever, that's the wrong word, economically friendly, so I like to use the reusable bags when I can and save them when I can. The reusable ones are really nice, they're like this, but with my giant tips they don't work so well, more the smaller ones. But then, I did that without showing you, sorry. You can put the tip on like this, and then this screws it into place and attaches it for you. So then you can put in your frosting, frost, and then when you want to change out this tip, you can. So I'm gonna do some frosting white, and then I'm gonna do the rest blue. So let's fill this up white. And then I'm going to do the rest blue. I filled that up really full. You're not supposed to go that full, but I didn't want to have to waste another bowl because I hate dishes. So I've got this one ready, and I'll set this aside. And now I'm going to dye this frosting in here blue. And I just have this kind of food coloring. You can do any kind of food coloring you want. Today it was on sale at Joann's, so I bought this one. And her colors are light blue, navy blue, and gold. So I got dark blue sprinkles and gold sprinkles. So I just want this frosting to be like a really light blue. So I'm only going to add like 1 drop to start. Dink. And then we'll see what color it looks like. Okay, so 1 drop of blue turned it into this really pretty pale blue. So now I'm going to load it into my other frosting bag. There's little containers that you can buy to hold this in so you can load the frosting. I just like to fold the bag down and hold it myself. It's just easier, and it gets easier the more that you do it. And when you go to refill the frosting, make sure that it's all the way empty before you try to refill it. That will avoid getting any air pockets. Another thing, before you start your frosting, make sure there's no water in your KitchenAid and no water. So if you're washing in between colors, make sure you hand dry it all the way because any water in your bowl will mess with your frosting. Okay, so now I have my cupcakes right here. Yay, I already baked them, they're ready to go. And I have the 2 different color frosting and I have the sprinkles. So I'll start with the blue, and if they look good plain, I'll leave them plain. If I want to put blue sprinkles on them, I'll put blue on them. If you are using sprinkles, you need to make sure that you apply them relatively quick after frosting it with buttercream, because once the buttercream sets up, it will be really hard for the sprinkles to stick. So I like to make sure I have the sprinkles all the way ready to go, so that way as you frost, you can frost a couple, sprinkle them, frost a couple, sprinkle them. All right, so starting in the center, working my way around, I'm gonna do that classic soft serve ice cream. And by starting in the center and moving out, I call that tucking your tail. Move in, move around, and then all the way up on top like that. You can change directions, so you can go clockwise on some, counterclockwise on some, mix it up. The harder you push and the higher you hold your hand, the taller your frosting is going to be. The more pressure you apply and the lower you keep your tip, then the shorter your frosting is going to end up. I don't know what is going on there. Okay, so then I don't have enough frosting in here to frost another one, so I'm going to push it all back into the bowl, because if I don't, then I will get a big air bubble when I refill it. Okay, so now I'm going to do a couple of them blue, do a couple of them plain, it's really funky sprinkles, and then a couple of them with gold. So this is the blue one, this is the plain one, and this is the gold one. I'll post a picture at the end with all of the white, all the different sprinkles, and you can see how they turned out. So don't be afraid of buttercream. This is the easiest recipe. You can use it to frost cakes with it. You can use it to frost cupcakes. I do recommend refrigerating it. It can be out for a couple hours, but it does have real butter and real milk in it, so it does not have a long shelf life. So keep it in the fridge for, you know, a couple days, a week, as long as whatever the cake is good for, then the frosting will be good for. All right, so the cupcakes are all done and frosted. I'll post a picture of the different varieties. But as I was frosting, I remembered one more tip for you. I like to keep the frosting in the KitchenAid, because if you have to take a break for a minute, like say you have to go and help your kids or pause Zathura or answer the door or whatever, and if your frosting sits for a while, it's going to start to get all crusty. But if you whip it up with the KitchenAid again, then it makes it all smooth and creamy again. So if you do have to take a break, make sure that you either whip it up with your spatula or put it back in your KitchenAid and give it a good whipping. And then get creative. Try doing different colors, try doing your different sprinkles, and thanks for watching. If you liked it, please subscribe or give me a thumbs up, and have a beautiful day.